start the Okay, welcome everyone, and thank you once again for being here. I really appreciate. I have two screens in front of me, and so if you see me changing or like twisting my head, it's because my eyes are on the other screen, but it doesn't mean that I'm not paying attention to you. Forgive me for that. Okay. Let's try to see if I can share the presentation here. Rama, can you check for me if we can see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your patience as we are sorting ourselves out. So I like to start this presentation by introducing you as a new graduate to the world. And this is the place where you begin to build a successful career. And I always like to use this motto that a successful career really begins with you, because it's really your choice whether you want to build a successful career in this life or not. But the journey of getting there, it starts with Weinspire. And the reason I say that is because at Weinspire, we have dedicated and committed our services to helping young people who are seasoned professionals to enhance their life by really supporting a lot of career development activities in their life, which includes mentorship. We provide scholarship like the one that you'll hear about in this presentation, but also we do a lot of mentorship and leadership programs. The reason is because we really like to make sure that the workforce is a beautiful thing. We want to encourage people to know that they have so much potential, and if they want to really take that route of building a career in their life, they can do that, and they can do that successfully. And so I want you to raise your hand, and if you cannot raise your hand, you can put a yes in the chat box. If you believe that if you wanted a successful career, you had to first of all find your purpose and then focus on your natural talents. So raise your hand if you believe that. I want to know. Frank has raised his hand. Thank you so much, Frank. Ruth, George, I'm seeing hands going up. Thank you so much. Brian has raised his hand. Thank you. Raise your hand again, or keep your hand raising if you believe that your career or employment, whether you're employed right now or you're not, but if you believe that employment is the main source of your income or will be the main source of your income, raise your hand. Because I know that some would be like, I'll be an entrepreneur and I don't think employment is the way for me, but I'm looking for those who affirm that, you know, employment is the way for them. Okay, great. Raise your hand or keep your hand raising also if you, thank you so much for raising hands. I appreciate. If you believe that if you started your own business, you would achieve more success. Raise your hand if you believe that. Marshall has raised his hand. Let me see who else has raised their hands here. Okay. Evalista, I hope I'm pronouncing your name well. Forgive me if I'm butchering your name, but thank you for being here. And thank you for raising your hand. Tumpale has raised his hand. George has raised his hand. Okay, thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate. Okay, raise your hand or keep your hand raising if you have a career development plan. So whether you're just a fresh graduate, you just came out of university just this past year, or you have been out of university for a couple of, years or months, whether it's university, college, I'm putting all those in the category of university. Please make sure that you are muted. So my question is, raise your hand if you have a career development plan. So Marshall has a career development plan. I appreciate Marshall. Tumpale also has a career development plan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Raise your hand if you believe that if you just worked hard enough for your company, you would eventually be happily rewarded. Raise your hand if you believe that. If you believe that if you really put in some hard work in your company, wherever you are, you would eventually be happily rewarded. Okay, Marshall raised his hand. Evalista also raised his hand. Okay, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate, because I feel like I am at the right place, because I resonate so much with a lot of those things. And so thank you so much for making me know that, I am not in the wrong place. We are all in the right place here. And whether you raised your hand or you didn't in some of the things, there's no right or left, or wrong answer. It's because that's how you feel. It's about beliefs, right? I just wanted to share a few things about your school life, because this program or this webinar is targeting people who recently graduated from university. And that could mean 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or just a few months ago. You know very well that the world of employment is very, very different from university or the school system, because school is has a well-designed curriculum. It has teachers who are guiding you through the modules and through the processes. Sometimes literally at school or at uni, excuse me, you will get there not even knowing what is going on that day, not even having to revise or to have a glimpse of what you're learning on that day. In the world of employment, you decide on your own what's the curriculum, what will it look like. You put all the pieces together. No one is there to tell you what to do. It's just you. You create your own modules, you create your own life. You're responsible for reviewing what is going on in your life, and there's no teacher to guide you along the way. Okay. Also, the world of university or the world of school has a clear path of progression. So you all know that when you get to university first year, right? You will automatically have to go to second year and then third year when you pass. Unless you fail, then you repeat a class, right? But when you pass, even if you really loved that class, or you loved that teacher, or you loved, whatever curriculum was happening in first year, if you have passed, you're not even allowed to repeat. You can't stay there. You need to go to the next class, right? While in the world of employment, you decide what success looks like, and it's all up to you. You dig your own path, you decide. You are the own CEO, you're your own boss. Nobody tells you whether you're failing or you're not, unless you really go up above and beyond to seek that feedback or ask someone to review what you're doing, and to have a mentor or someone to guide you along the way. But other than that, you are on your own. You have to decide and to know what is going on. You have to be your own evaluator. You need to set your own indicators. You need to, do all the work and put in all the work. You're the teacher, you're the student, all by yourself. Also, that, with the university system or with the school system or colleges, it's very homogeneous cohort. So you get to start first year with people who look like you, people who think like you. You're learning the same things, similar things. And when you go to second year, you also learn the same things until you finish. So it's like your colleagues or your classmates are really people that you can resonate with in so many ways. Their age ranges, they look like you're within their age ranges, the way you think, the things that you like. When you get into the world of employment, it's very, very different, because the moment you get out to get to begin to job hunt, then you're competing with people like me, who are out here, have been out here many, many years, are experienced, but they are still going for the same job that you're looking for. Why? It's because there's a lot of unemployment challenges out here, right? So the people don't think like you. The people that you're competing against don't think like you. They don't look like you by age. They don't look like you by experience. They don't look like you in the places where they've been. They are very, very different. And so you are competing with people who look very, very different from yourself. And I'm going to share with you a few facts here that, first of all, having a great degree doesn't guarantee a job. Whether you graduate with a distinction, whether you graduate with a credit, whether you were a very good student at your university, it doesn't matter when you come to the world of employment. It doesn't matter, because you are starting from scratch. Everyone is weighed by the same yardstick. And so even if you put on your CV or on your resume that I graduated with an honors, or I graduated with a credit, whatever, it really doesn't matter in the world of employment. And the other fact is that many Malawian youth are very underemployed or in low risk, in low skill jobs, even with higher education. There is so many young people who are very highly skilled. They have been out in the industry for quite some time, but they are still on the low end of the organogram. Why? Because the competition is just too high. There is so many people there, and there is a lot of people who are in their retirement age, who are still in the industry, and they're still competing with the young people who have just come out of university. And the other fact is that age limit, extended retirement ages, it limit job openings for younger workers. When I finished university and I started work, I was very ambitious. And I know that's the fact for a lot of people here. I wanted to be, to implement all the creative ideas. I wanted to change policies. I wanted to make the industry better. I wanted to contribute meaningfully. But no matter how hard I tried, I kept finding myself at the low end of the organogram, on the entry level. First year, I'm on the entry level. Second year, I'm still on the entry level. And it was worse because I was working with the government. It's so frustrating to think that, people at the ministerial level, at the ministry, are people who are aged, who are supposed to be moving out and getting retired. But the system is not working, guys. And so what you find is that you'll find 65, 66, 67, 70-year-olds who have not retired, and instead maybe they're just being moved from department to department just because they still want to continue earning a salary. And so you're competing with people like that. People like that are taking opportunities that were supposed to be for young people who are bright, who are brilliant, who are enthusiastic of contributing into the industry and really changing things and making moves in the industry. And the other fact is that many highly skilled Malawian youth, they work in low skill jobs, often self-employed, because of a lot of frustration and everything else. A lot of people are just resorting to say, you know what, I'm just going to go and raise chicken. I'm going to go and start baking. I'm just going to go and start, a restaurant. But really, it's because it's out of the frustration of being unemployed for so long, and just like the office politics and other things else that are preventing them from being the best version of themselves within the industry. Let me share with you also a few statistics that I prepared. So you will find that an average person spends 90,000 hours at work in their lifetime. So I always say that if you know that your main way of earning money or earning income is by working, you better make sure that that time counts. And when we talk about average, it considers your age when you started working, right? It considers the quality of your health. If you have been struggling in the industry for quite some time and it took you longer to really get into the industry, you have to know that you're taking away from the 90,000 hours. If you started, it would be different for someone who started working at age 21 and someone who started really working at age 25. That's very different. You know, if you started work and your health is not, up to speed, you have to struggle with health issues. And a lot of times you have to be absent and unpaid leave and all that. That takes away from the 90,000 hours, right? It also considers your life expectancy. So the average life expectancy in Malawi is 64 years. If people are dying earlier than that, you have to know that the 90,000 hours also get so much reduced. So, which means that timing really matters. Timing is really matters in your life. It is very important that, whatever you do from now onwards after university, make it count and make sure that you're setting a good foundation for yourself, especially if you decide that you want to be employed. So let me just share a few things about a successful career. So I, 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 I say that these are key elements to a successful career. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I have the understanding based on the questions that I asked before that most of you would like to build a successful career. Most of you would like are choosing the path of career as a main way through which you earn income, right? So there's two things that you need to do that are very, very key as you begin your career. And these are very foundational things, guys. You cannot build anything successful if you don't put in the foundation. This is why when builders are building a house, they take their sweet time to make sure that the foundation is strong because they want that structure to stand for a long time. And so it's the same thing with your life. It's the same thing with your health. It's the same thing with your career. Yes, being in university and learning the basics of what the industry requires and the skills, it's very, very important. But key is to first of all decide what success looks like to you. When you get outside of this part of the world, you will realize that, people define success differently. At the university or college, success is very clear in terms of, okay, you're successful if you pass the exams. 50% and above, you've passed and you're successful. 49% and below, you have failed and you have to repeat a subject or you have to repeat a course, right? It's very clear. When you get to the world of employment, it's very, very different. You would have to begin to think about what does really successful mean to you. And some people define success by the career ladders that they climb, right? The number of promotions that they get, the number of accolades and the recognitions in the workplace that they get. Some people will define that by the amount of money that they're receiving. Some people, it's just the peace. They say, you know what, I just want a peaceful career that will bring me joy, that will bring me fulfillment, a career that will make my life very flexible so that while I'm building my career, I'm also building other pieces of my life, right? So you really have to be very clear. Understand what success means to you personally because it's your life. Like I said, you have to consider factors like whether it's money, whether it's the position, the power, authority, team size, regions, whether you want to go international. Choose a definition that brings you fulfillment. So that's the first thing. The second key thing that you would have to factor in is have a career development plan. So once you consider what or decide what success looks like to you, then have a career development plan. It's very, very important. A lot of people don't take time to develop a career development plan, but you have to know that this is very important. It will be very, very important to you and to your life because the career development plan is your guide to where you're going to go from now onwards. And the career development plan, it's not like cast on in a on a stone. It's something that you go back and review now and again. It's something that you revise. It's something that you keep on improving. But having it right now is better than having none and working blindly. When I graduated, so just for your information, maybe some of you, it's the first time you're hearing from me. I graduated as a nurse. I graduated from KCN, Campus College of Nursing those days, and out, I was a nurse. I was very, very clear as to what I wanted from the word go. Because if you were here the other day, I shared a story whereby I started applying for scholarships when I was in second year of university. Because for me, I had clarity in what I wanted for my career. And I didn't see myself being a nurse for a very long time. I didn't see nursing as the future for me. And I wanted to change that narrative. And I had that vision written down. I had my goals. I had clarity of what exactly I wanted to do from then onwards. And that's what happened. So please have a career development plan. It needs to have a career vision. You need to have a vision and an imagination of where you want to be in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, in the long term and in the short term. You have to have goals and objectives, okay? You have to have goals and objectives. So set clear, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Make sure that they are very clear to you and you're not doing this for anyone. You're doing this for yourself, guys. You have to know that you come first when it comes to these things. Nobody is going to define that for you. You remember the comparison we made from the school, environment or the school system, and now you're in the world of employment. You have to do these things by yourself. You need to decide resources, identify resources like support system. Resources is not only money. You have to identify who is my support system in this journey, who is going to be supporting me, who are my mentors, who are the people that I need to look up to, who have done something like what I wanted or what I desire, who are the people who can really give me the the counsel that I need. If things are not working and I really need to consult somebody, who is that person? Who are my role models? Who's going to give me the training? Or where do I get training, whether paid or free training? Where do I get that from to enhance my career life? And how about the financial resources if I need them? Where are they going to come from? Who's going to support me? Can I mobilize scholarships? Can I get free trainings? Can I get something, a bursary, whatever, to help me build my career? But you have to have all those considerations. And if you're not clear, if you're not sure, ask somebody around you. Ask somebody who can help you, because this is your career. It's not anyone's. And if you decide not to do it, no one is even going to ask you. But what I'm sharing with you today are these things that I know they have worked and they work. Okay. And then have an action plan. So create a step-to-step plan with timelines and progress as well as indicators. What would tell you that you're being successful or you're going in the right direction? What is the first step that you need to take? If you want to read a book, for example, the first thing that you decide to do is find the book. You're going to go and buy the book. And then the second thing is you create time to say, I'm going to be reading my book the first thing in the morning. And then open the book and read the first word and the first phrase and the first sentence. So what does that look like when it comes to your career? Okay, so make sure that you have an action plan. You can have all these beautiful things, but if you don't put action in it, then you set yourself to fail. Okay, and how to beat the competition now? You're a fresh graduate, you newly graduated, you have no idea about so many things, but here are some of the things that will really help you and set you apart from the competition. Like I said, you're competing with people whom you have graduated with. So if your class or your cohort had 100 people that have graduated that year, you have to know that you're competing with those ones in the job industry. Then you're competing with the class that graduated last year. And then you're competing from people from other universities. You're competing with people from different age groups, people who graduated in 2014, 2016, 2019, 2020. All those are still in the system and they're unemployed and they're looking for the same opportunities that you're looking for. This is how you set yourself apart. First of all, research and specialize. Research, choose a specialized industry, and identify targeted companies. So make your research to say, once you have decided, remember, first of all, you're deciding what success looks like, and then you're putting together a career development plan, and then research and say, okay, with this career development plan, with the visions that I have, with the places where I want to work, where I want my career to go, which are the companies that are going to meet to do that for me? You're not everyone's cup of tea. I always say that. Don't make yourself that cheap. You're not everyone's cup of tea. So you have to know that there is specific companies and organizations and places that are going to fulfill your career dream. It's not everyone. It's not the government. If it's the government, good for you. But you have to know that there are very specific places that are going to fulfill what you're looking for. Go and research those places. Make sure you get as many information as possible. Part of your research, contact people who have worked there or whom you know have a connection who works there so that you can ask them the questions, the right questions, okay? That's connecting with the industry professionals so that you can gain insights. If you know someone from your university, an alumni, and you know that they work in that company, they've done well successfully, contact them and schedule a meeting with them and ask them to say, you know, I want to come to your office. I want to learn A, B, C, and D. I used to do that quite a lot, especially the fact that, you know, I had very clear idea of what I wanted to do. I had meetings with people in my industry or people whom I really admired in my journey. And I would just call them to say, hey, I really wanted to ask you a few questions about the industry, and I want you to help me with things. People are always willing to help you. People are always willing to pour into you. So take advantage of that. The second thing is that showcase your expertise. So a lot of you, how many of you are on Facebook? Let me just see by raise of hands or just by saying yes. I want to know, okay, Tumpale is on Facebook. Okay, good. Thanks, Tumpale. Who else? Brian is on Facebook. Thank you. Who else? Marshall is on Facebook. Okay, thank you, thank you. Great. A lot of us are on Facebook. And who is on LinkedIn? I want to know also who is on LinkedIn. Okay, Tumpale is also on LinkedIn. Okay. Ryan is on LinkedIn. Yes. So it doesn't matter that you are fresh from university or you graduated a couple of years ago. Evalista says, yes, I'm on LinkedIn too. Thank you. A lot of us are on these social media platforms. How do we spend our time and our life on these social media platforms? Just going Kwape Mpelompande and looking at, you know, all those Sunday stories and laugh and make. Some of us are top contributors in these platforms. Actually, you're given a medal on this platform to say you're a top contributor, Kwape Mpelompande, you know, which means that shows how many times and how long we are using social media for, right? But how about this? Instead of really just being on social media for hours and you're just chit-chatting with people without purpose, how about you decide today that from now onwards, I will be contributing something meaningful on my LinkedIn? You don't have to be an expert, guys. I'm telling you the truth. You don't have to be a seasoned expert. And this is what we teach you here at Weinspire, because we want you to be an inspiration to people. That's where the name We Inspire came from. We want young people like you to be an inspiration to others. Don't just be on social media and waste your time there. You can do something, and you don't really have to be an expert. You can share the books that you're reading. You pick a book, you read, you make a summary, and that's what you share on your Facebook and your LinkedIn. You can begin to look into your industry. You graduated as a nutrition specialist, or what do you call a nutrition specialist or a nutritionist, right? You graduated like that, and you have your bachelor's, or you're waiting to receive your bachelor's degree, right? Go back to your notes, go back to your books, show passion in your industry, and every day share a nugget about nutrition. A lot of people are struggling with health issues here, and a lot of those health issues are lifestyle issues. Go and teach them about eating healthy, how to prepare meals, where to find nutritious food, how to do shopping. Like you can share a lot of things. You have graduated as a nurse or as a doctor, as a medical doctor. Share tips about health. Find a specialized area. You can target something like mental health. A lot of people are struggling with mental health these days, and keep on sharing about that. And to be honest, Google is the right place. You are privileged. You can just Google you can key in a topic on Google, and it will show you a lot of things, and you can just read an article, make a summary out of it, and contribute. Look out for people who share on, especially like on LinkedIn. They're experts who share about that. There is WHO pages, there is, all these health related big companies and organizations who are sharing things. Go there and contribute something that because you're not an empty vessel. You are very wise, you're very smart. Google has made everyone smart these days. You can leverage that and really take information and keep on adding and commenting on this. That way, you are taking yourself out of the competition. You are making yourself to become the expert. You are making yourself to stand out in the industry, because whether you like it or not, I tell you, social media has a way of letting people know about you without even you putting in extra effort. Have you ever noticed that you're on Facebook and you're minding your business, and on your news feed, you see a post about somebody, you don't even know that person, you don't even have a relationship, you don't even know where they are from, which country they are from, but Facebook has a way of just showing you stuff. You have to know that it happens for everyone. You have to know that your content is showcased to people who are not even within your network. And that's the power of social media. So don't just go on social media and waste your time. Make sure that you are doing something meaningful, especially as part of building your career. If you're not clear about this, come to Weinspire. We will teach you exactly how to do this, how to start, how to have a plan, when to post every day, and so that this can become profitable for you in the future. Okay? Build a strong online presence. Create a well-crafted profile on LinkedIn and other relevant platforms. Some of you have fun names on social media. Even on your LinkedIn, you don't even want the world to know who you are. I wonder why. Make sure that you have your name there. Make sure that you create a good profile for yourself. At Weinspire, when we do career development, we help people to create their own, to craft their own profiles that speak to who they are, that speaks about their future, of their dreams, profiles that are inspiring to other people and to themselves, on LinkedIn, on social, on Facebook and other places, especially when you decide that you want to use those platforms for your professional growth and development. Share your passions and interests to showcase your personality as well. If you are someone who is passionate about the environment, for example, share your passion about environment, about taking care of environment. Start initiatives. It doesn't even take much to start an initiative. Sit down with your classmates and think about what can you really do to contribute into the society. It doesn't have to be necessarily anything related to the work that you're doing, but it can be a passion. It can be an environment. You want to organize yourselves to clean the streets, or to plant trees, or to do something for the good. Do that and keep on sharing that on your social media platforms and telling the world what you're up to. You're setting yourself from the competition. Network effectively and efficiently. So when you graduate, sometimes people are very shy to even connect with people, even to just reach out to others on social media. Please make sure that you're reaching out to people. You have to, there is a process to that. You have to be very respectful. You have to be very mindful. But guess what? When you do it the right way, a lot of people are very willing even to spare their time to sit down with you and share what they know or the questions. Have very specific questions that you need to ask, because people in the industry are very busy. So if you're reaching out to me and you want to sit down with me so that I can share a few things with me, I don't have 1 hour for you. I don't have half an hour for you. Maybe the minimum the maximum I can give you is 20 minutes. But within those 20 minutes, be serious, be targetful. When people set time to say, let's meet at 2 o'clock, let it be 2 o'clock. Don't waste anyone's time. Make sure that you're showing seriousness and reach out to these people, as many as possible. Have your agenda, have your goals laid down, have your questions very specific, very directly. Have exactly what you want them to help you with. Because if you're not clear, then that meeting will be a waste and that person will not come back to you again. Follow through if they tell you to say, these are the things that I think you should do that will help you. Follow through with that. Follow through with that. Don't just waste their time and waste your time and energy as well. So focus on meaningful connections and avoid spamming people. And then the other thing is position yourself as a brand, because you are a brand. A lot of people, they don't think about this in that way. They don't think of themselves in that way, but you have to know that you are a brand. Every time people call my name, I know that I'm a brand. Every time people reach out to me for a service, I know that I'm a brand. When you begin to look at yourself as a brand, as the brand, you have to know that you increase your value. The way you charge your services is not the same anymore. Don't just look at you as another, employee. No, look at yourself as a brand and begin. When you set that mindset within yourself, you have to know that your actions will resonate with that, and you will begin to look at yourself as a brand and investing in yourself as a brand. Understand your value and your worth. It builds your confidence. Okay. Uh, Finally, develop essential skills. So the other cool thing about having a career development plan is that you can know what are your gaps in your career. And so once you know your gaps, once you understand that these are my gaps, you begin to build in those gaps and finding, what are the trainings that I need to do in order to, to work on these gaps. What other things can I do in my life to increase my value? I always say that, if you want to become valuable in your career life, solve problems and think analytically. You will not beat that, because employers, when they reach out to you or when you're applying for a job, they want problem solvers. So in your industry, what are the pain points of people, of organizations? I always give an example of so for example, if you're coming from a nursing background or a medical background, what are the issues that really the industry is struggling with these days? There is cancers. A lot of people are dying of cancers, and people are thinking like, man, what's the future if we don't crack this cancer code? So be that and begin to think to say, how can we really help people who are dying of cancer? What are some of the things? A lot of people, a lot of governments are stuck or are struggling with finances, health financing, right? It's an issue because resources are never enough. Can you come and solve that problem and be a health, um, you know, um, expertise when it comes to health financing? Can you become a health economic person and really kind of like, run all those models for different governments to say, if you invest in this, these are the pros and the cons. Can you solve that problem for them? So think about what are the big issues in your industry and then focus on solving those issues. You might not solve them today, but just thinking about them and really, positioning your mindset to that will help you navigate a path to lead you there. Okay, demonstrate your ability to address challenges effectively. So be a problem solver, guys. Think analytically and ask the right questions. There are a lot of people who are in the industry and really they're just mediocre. They just do what they've been given. They don't even ask the right questions. Be there and ask the right questions, because right questions bring right answers. Okay, so Why does your CV get trashed? A lot of people, especially who are just coming out of the university, are nervous about, how do I make my CV strong? How do I make my CV attractive? How do I make my CV, meaningful, so that when I apply for jobs, at least someone can take my CV and have interest to look at it. So a lot of times our CVs get trashed or they're ignored because they are very long or they're too short. So you either underwhelm the CV reviewer. There is a very a small window, 6 seconds period, whereby when people receive your CV, they'll have to look at it because the competition is just too high. I do recruitment at Weinspire. We do recruitment. And so when we float an advert, you have to know that a minimum that we receive, even within a 2-week period, it's not less than 200 CVs. And you have to review to do justice to everyone. You have to review each of those CVs. When you are reviewing CVs like that, you don't really have much time. So if your CV is so long, 6 pages, 7 pages, nobody has time for that. If your CV is just too short, it also shows me that you didn't really give in, you didn't give it enough time. And so you want to make sure that your CV is a good size, but also the quality of information that you're putting in there, the phrases, the wording matters, okay? The outlook matters. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is that it may be lacking relevant content. So maybe the content is not convincing. You didn't take time really to put in the catchy phrases and the buzzwords and the nice words, and you didn't package it nicely, you didn't brand it nicely, and so there's nothing special that I'm saying. You're not adding value to the organizations. I'm not saying anything. It's empty. It's just words. So be selective of your phrases. Okay, people are looking for someone who can add value to their company. Are you demonstrating through your CV that you're adding value to somebody's life? Most people can achieve the job or the company objectives without adding value. There are a lot of people in these places who can just tick the box. I did this, I did this, I did this, but they are not really adding value to the company. You want to be someone who is a value addition to the company. So this, I'll not go into detail, is an example of LinkedIn profiles. And I put this here because this is something that we really teach you. Remember, I talked about, you have to improve your LinkedIn profile. You have to improve on, share yourself to the world on social media platforms. So I just threw this in here just to show you that, you can curate your LinkedIn profile, and go ahead. You can look at my profile. This is, I changed it. It doesn't look like this on my LinkedIn, but you can go back to the recording and pause this slide and just look at it, and you can curate something out of it. And also, to be honest, the internet has a lot of things, a lot of cool things can teach you 1 or 2 things about your LinkedIn profiles. So go there and look for it. So let's quickly talk about the fundamentals of a successful CV. So a successful CV, or how to get your CV noticeable, first of all, avoid these things. Avoid a one-size-fits-all CV. A lot of you have only one CV, and every time you hear about a job opportunity, you just take that CV and use it to apply for a job. You need to stop that. Every job has to have a unique CV. You can't have a one-size-fits-all kind of a CV. No. Avoid unnecessary use of big words and cliches, especially those that don't make meaning. Some of you are just, big fans of big words. Don't just put in big words in your CV or your resume just for the fun of it. It's so annoying for someone to be saying all these big words that don't make meaning at all. Okay? Check your spelling, your grammar, your punctuation errors. Usually, I highly recommend that when you're applying for a job and you have your CV worked out, find someone else to look at it before you submit. It's a good practice, guys. I've received applications whereby even the person misspelled their name. Even their email is wrong. Even their phone number is wrong because they're in such a hurry to submit. How can you be in such a hurry for such an important document? A document that will have to announce your name, to tell good news about you to somebody, a stranger that have never seen you before. How can you be in such a hurry, guys? How can you be so careless? You know, do not send in those blank emails or those useless emails and starting your email with "to whom it may concern" or "dear madam" or "sir." Stop doing that. It shows that you did not do enough research about the company or the organization. There has to be someone who is receiving those applications. There has to be a department that is receiving those applications, and that department usually has a head. Is it a head of recruitment? Is it an head of HR? Is there a name? Usually they'll also put a name. So find that name and put it in the address. Don't just say "to whom it may concern." Okay. Avoid random or unsolicited CVs and applications. Some of you are just, machines that look into who is working where, what are their emails, and you can get that easily through the internet these days. And then you attach your CV and just send blindly. Do not do that. Do not spam people like that. You look very spammy. You look very unauthentic. You look very unprofessional, and people will block you. Okay. And sometimes people are applying for a job and they'll only attach a PDF or a Word document of their CV and no email to the body, nothing to the email. You just attach it and then you send. You don't say anything, and your CV is even mislabeled. Don't do that, okay? Overly formatting your email or your CV. There is AI these days. AI is there to help us. But if you overly use AI, it loses sometimes authenticity about who you are and the way you express yourself. And what happens these days is that we see a lot of people who are failing at interviews with very beautiful CVs. Why? Because AI wrote their CV. They didn't write it themselves, or somebody else wrote their CVs. They didn't write themselves. And so when they're being asked about the CV or the things that they've put in the CV, or just generally being asked questions during the interview, they're not articulating things the way their CV is articulating things. You need to avoid that, okay? So make sure that you're being authentic, that your voice is being heard through your CV. Elements of a great resume or a CV, you have to include your personal details: full name, address, contact details, your personal statement or your career objective. What is your vision for your career? Okay, people call it a profile or a bio. You need to make sure that you're including that. Employment history. Even if you haven't worked, there has to be something about you that people need to know. What were you doing at university? What are your passion? What are you passionate about? A lot of fresh graduates are very nervous when it comes to employment history. And I've heard a lot of people asking me and emailing me, texting me to say, what do I put on my employment history? If you are in that category, you need to keep on listening to this presentation because it's going to help you. It's going to put a solid foundation to what you are desiring to build in terms of your career. It has to have academic qualification or education and any other achievements, certifications, publications, conferences that you have attended. Make sure all these things are very relevant to what you're applying for. And it has to have referees. A lot of people will hide their referees. Just put referees, guys. Let me just say that. Just put referees there. You don't lose anything. Just like you're putting your information there, include your referees there. It shortens the time from when the recruiter has to come to you again or email you again, and it takes some days for you to see your email. And then they are like, oh, we are interested in you. Can you give us your, referees? Like, shorten their time, make their life easy. Okay. Considerations for a successful CV. State your accomplishments. So accomplishments versus duties and responsibilities. A lot of people, when they are writing their CV, they like to put duties and responsibilities of the previous job. Don't do that. Don't do that. On work history, focus on your accomplishments. People want to know, yes, you were an operations manager or an operations officer in the previous position, but what were you achieving? I don't want to know what you were you doing. I want to know what you accomplished. If I want to understand what your role or responsibility, I can Google it. I will know it, trust me, or I'll ask you during the interview. But I want to know, I want your CV to tell me what did you accomplish while you were there. Because a lot of times people want to know that you can achieve goals. If you were able to achieve something or to accomplish something in your previous positions, likely you'll be able to achieve something for me in this new position. Okay, focus. Show your employer you're a focused person. Avoid general CVs. Keywords. Use keywords that match the job description. Usually the job description or the job advert would have specific keywords that the employer is looking for. Use those keywords in your CV as well. That's why I keep saying that you can't be using a one-size-fits-all CV for all your applications. Format. Organize your CV or your resume in a very smart format, chronological order. Use bulleting or numbering. First things first. It has to look clean, guys, and neat and not overcrowded. I have to know the different sections. They have to be very clearly demarcated. Only include relevant work experiences. I've had people who graduated in, 1984, and they're still putting the experience of 1984 on their CVs today. Well, if it's relevant, it makes sense, but a lot of times people have evolved. People have changed quite a lot. Things have changed in this world, and you can't keep on putting those things. So those are the key things that will set your foundation to say if you want a good start in your career, those are the things. But being a fresh graduate, being a person who has been in the industry and you're not seeing a lot of changes, meaningful changes, or you are really hungry for success, you keep worried. You are worried to some extent to say, how do I start from? Where do I go from here? Where do I start from? How do I start? What's the next step for me to do? What's the right thing for me to do? Will I be able to rise the corporate ladder fast enough? As I'm talking about this, I want you guys to drop any worry that you have or any question that you have, anything that's going on through your mind right now when it comes to your career, any pain point that you sit down and you're like, man, this is a headache and I don't know how to get around this, or this is making me not to sleep at night, and I'm really thinking about this when it comes to my career. I want you to drop it in the chat and we're going to talk about it towards the end. But I've heard a lot of people who are saying, will I be able to rise the corporate ladder fast enough, especially with the competition out there? It's tough, guys. And that's a very genuine concern. I extracted this from some of the surveys that we've run in the past. The other question or the other worry is, will my CV satisfy the job requirements, especially that I'm a fresh graduate? I just came off university or college, and I haven't really worked enough to prove myself to the world to say, this is me, right? And you're worried about that. Where do I get the experience to include in my CV? We've received that quite a lot. Like, what do I even put in my CV? A lot of graduates, they don't even have a CV. First year, second year graduating, and they are still wondering to say, what do I even include in my CV? I don't know. I haven't done really anything meaningful. How do I get myself ready for the employment world? There's so much going on. You need to learn the tricks of the industry, how to be professional, how to communicate with people, how to handle yourself, how to be confident, how to speak positively about yourself, how to package yourself as a product and as a service or as a brand. How do you even negotiate salary? A lot of times people take advantage of fresh graduates when it comes to salaries because you don't know what you're worth. And really, I don't blame you. I didn't know what I was worth until I sat down with somebody to tell me to say, these are the areas that you need to look at. And when it comes to negotiating salaries, it's very funny that people don't think that when you're fresh from university, you can't negotiate salary. You can negotiate salary at every point of your career, whether it's at entry point, it doesn't matter, but you can still negotiate your salary. People are worried to say, oh, I want to start with volunteering, but where do I start from? What's the right volunteer position for me? How long must I volunteer for? How do I know that volunteer work is working for me? Or how do I know that I'm in the right place? You've never worked before, for example. And so sometimes people would be like, I've never worked before and I don't know whether this is a toxic environment or it's not, or maybe this is how work looks like. Good news, we are here to help you and to teach you all those things. This is why Weinspire is here, because we deal with fresh graduates, we deal with graduates been in the industry for quite long. And I want to introduce to you this opportunity, the ProGrad program. This is our new program. I'm calling it new because the name is new. And the way we've packaged and moved things around is new, but we have been doing this for a long time. We have a sister program, which we call Step Up Your Career program. Step Up Your Career program is a mirror, or let me say that ProGrad program is a mirror to the Step Up Your Career program. So ProGrad specifically is targeting new graduates to just teach them, to allay the anxiety, to give them confidence, to give them a good start, a foundational start to their career journey. We understand, guys, that you're anxious. We understand that there's a lot of pros and cons that you need to learn. You need to learn the tricks of the industry. You need to learn to negotiate and to market yourself. You need to learn to communicate when you get to the office. You need to know how to communicate, how to set boundaries. You need to learn to be your own champion, right? We are here to teach you all that. We call it a career launchpad to a successful career. It equips recent and fresh graduates with the practical skills and mindset needed to start out in today's competitive job market. And so when you talk about recent graduates, we're not just talking about the people who graduated this year or who are waiting to graduate, but we are talking about 2-3 years, because we know that that crop is still struggling out there. They are part of your competitors, guys. You find them, you graduate, they're still going for the same kind of jobs that you are going for. And we want to help all that category of people into setting the proper foundational things for pillars for their careers. And like I said, we have a sister program that looks a little like this, more like this, but a little different, and it's called the Step Up Your Career. But we realize that the Step Up Your Career really is for people who have been in the industry for quite some time. But we wanted to make something that really resonates to fresh graduates. And so that's why we call it a ProGrad, because we want you to graduate as a pro, and we want you to build your career as a pro. And so we will teach you all these things as you chill. We want you to chill while we show you the keys to becoming an excellent employee. We want you to chill while we are taking away the stress of developing a winning CV, because we're going to help you with that. We want you to drop the worry about figuring out where to start from. We want you to get the pro tips on how to ace your first interview. We want to help you become a pro at marketing yourself and stand out in the competition. And there is more, guys, to this program. What you get from the program, you get a career launch package. So we'll give you everything that you need to know to launch your career. We'll help you we will help you with the volunteer work checklist. So this checklist helps you to know if the volunteer position is good for you and what to look for, especially when you're going for career. We don't, for volunteering, we don't want people to take advantage of you out there, because there's a lot of that. We are seeing more of that these days, that people will just say, oh, we are looking for volunteers, unpaid volunteers. Yes, you go there and they will groom you for sure, but you become good at your work and you're still a volunteer and they're not offering you the position. We want to teach you how to negotiate from volunteer. How do you negotiate your way into the organization? How do you go about that? Because the reason a lot of people volunteer It's not just because they want to give out to the community. Yes, that's part of it, but they want to build meaningful skills. But also it's a way of putting your foot into the organizations and really learning about the industry. But you want that to really meaningfully profit you, right? We will teach you about professional ethical practices for beginners. We'll teach you the standard communication practices in the workplace for beginners. We'll help you with CV development. We'll help you with cover letter development, and we'll give you checklists for that. What is in it for you? You build confidence to know your value and understand your worth. You will access professional development, including, assertiveness, setting firm boundaries and sticking with it, being able to articulate yourself, being able to, to recognize and to acknowledge, um, you know, uh, authority within your work environment, will help you with career development planning, and will, most importantly for me, is the positive mindset that will help you to soar into the work environment and to really succeed in building a profitable career. How much for all that? 67,000. We've made it 67 because the actual cost or pricing for that is 97,000. But understanding that we are dealing with fresh graduates here, we want to really make the price reasonable. And this is an 8-week virtual program. All that you need to do is to bring your laptop or your phone and show up. The same time that you spend, guys, on your WhatsApp, on your Facebook, on Pempelompande, you can use that and invest in yourself. It's the same amount of time. It's the same strategy, nothing else. You just have to log in to a Zoom like this, and then you listen, and then you take notes, and you do the activities, because there's a lot of hands-on practical things that you need to do. And the cost for that is just 67,000 Malawi kwacha for you. But if also you want to try your chance, we are excited to offer 8 scholarships. So the same program, we're gonna give 8 people full scholarships to be able, because our priority here at Weinspire is to invest in people. We want to make that investment meaningful, and we want to give as many opportunities to people around us. And so that's why we are giving out this scholarship. You can apply for the scholarship and we'll cover everything. All that you need to do when we start is to just show up and attend the programs. This is your opportunity to get the skills that you need to launch your career without breaking the bank. So who can apply for the scholarship? Any recent graduates between ages 18 to 28 years. You must have completed college or university studies within the past 2 years. And how to apply? There is first of all, you did well that you're here, because anyone who applies must have attended this webinar, and then or the webinar last week. And then you have to fill out an application form, share your passion for your career. Tell us what is interesting about you and how you want to build your career. Okay, so this is the application link, and I'm sure that Tamandani or Vera, if she's here, you will be able to drop the link in the chat so that you can easily access it. Take your time, because we want to hear substance from you. Don't just rush it through. We are closing on the 30th, which is in 2 days. So you still have time to work on it. If you know somebody who was here, but they haven't, they dropped out early, tell them about this opportunity. We want to make sure that we are telling as many people as possible. And also just go on our social media pages, share this opportunity with the world. People who share this opportunity with others have an increased chance of getting into this, because while we are supporting you, we want someone to support us as well. And the little ways that you can support us is by sharing this opportunity with somebody else. So just go on our social media pages, either on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and you will find posts about this opportunity here. Just share it with your network. But by doing that, you're increasing your chance to win the scholarship. It's not mandatory, but it's something that we are just asking because we want people, a lot of people to know about what we are doing here. If you have any information, any questions about Weinspire, be in touch. Those are our numbers. That's our website, and that is our email. So please get in touch, and we are looking forward to welcoming you. I will stop sharing right now, and I will go into the questions. I want to see, what's your name on LinkedIn? Oh, I want to connect with you. Thanks. We are called Weinspire. Tama or Vera, if you can drop a link to our LinkedIn, that would be great. Thank you so much. Where can we access the application form? I think the application form has been dropped in the chat as well. Great. Anyone else has a question? I will pause the recording.